Hello again to another Agakala React, and today we will be watching why Italy is changing its blood citizenship laws. Let's just jump into it and see why. What happened? Oh, no voice.
US citizenship laws is coming to an end after late last month. The Italian government announced plans to tighten its citizenship regulation, which previously allowed individuals worldwide to trace their ancestry back generations to obtain Italian citizenship. This change comes in response to concerns about potential misuse of the system, following a significant surge in new citizenship applications in...
I misunderstood the title. I thought that was basically about someone who was born in Italy gained automatic citizenship from parents that they aren't Italian citizens. You get me? Like the citizen, like that they talk about in America all the time.
Recent years. So, in this video, we're going to look at why Italy is changing its citizenship laws, and how it actually may prove pretty controversial. Who's the most influential person in the world? Well, we asked the TLDR team and audience to rank a bunch of powerful people, and we have the results. Find out the full list in the next copy of our magazine, Too Long. Pre-order a copy by clicking the link in the description. Let's begin with some context. In Italy, as in much of Europe, immigration law is primarily grounded in the principle of jus sanguinis, or citizenship by descent or blood. This approach allowed the country to uphold connections with the descendants of millions of Italians who emigrated to escape poverty and conflict during the 19th and 20th centuries. According to these laws, individuals who can demonstrate that they have an Italian ancestor who was alive after 1861, the date of Italy's unification, are eligible to apply for citizenship, which is often a lengthy and complex process. Notably, Italy allows claims to be made based on ancestry that can be traced back more than 3 generations, one of the most generous provisions in the European Union.
Let's see this map. So, first generation only. In France, Germany, Switzerland, Iceland. That's a lot. Okay, so while Norway, Iceland, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein are not EU member countries, they are part of the single market, and their citizens have the same settlement rights across Europe as citizens of fully fledged EU member states. Okay, but basically, so EU citizenship by descent. So first generation, those countries in red. Second generation, it's lighter, so it's Czechia and was that Romania? Or the Hungary, no. And yeah, third legislation pending in Slovakia, third generation or earlier it's Poland as well. Okay.
As a result, between 60 million and 80 million people worldwide may qualify for Italian citizenship through their bloodline. Because of this, over the years, the number of new citizens granted has been rising, and the number of Italian citizens abroad grew about 40% over the last decade to 6.4 million in 2024, from 4.6 million in 2014, in large part because of these newly minted citizens. In 2022, more than 210,000 people were granted citizenship, the largest number in the European Union, and this figure rose dramatically to over 350,000 in 2023, with jus sanguinis being the most popular route to getting citizenship, more than double the second most popular route, which was via residency. Essentially, the government has now narrowed its citizenship eligibility to allow only those who have Italian parents or grandparents to obtain citizenship, and only if they reside in Italy for 2 or 3 years. Additionally, dual nationals risk losing their Italian citizenship if they don't engage by paying taxes, voting, or renewing their passports. In turn, people who are granted citizenship, but rarely, if ever, came to Italy, may not be able to keep it, according to the decree. The way we see it, there's 2 main reasons why the country has introduced these changes. The first is that citizenship applications have congested Italy's courts, consulates, and municipal offices, which are struggling to process requests, and small towns have been inundated with requests for old birth, death, and marriage records, which grinds other important work to a near halt. Because of this, even before the decree was announced on Friday, recent rulings from the Italian Supreme Court began to interpret citizenship laws more narrowly in their rulings, after which the Interior Ministry issued a memo saying that if applicants' Italian ancestors had voluntarily acquired a new nationality while their children were minors, those children automatically lost their Italian citizenship. That meant the citizenship chain was broken. Meanwhile, consular appointments are so scarce that Italian citizens abroad routinely log on to an online portal at midnight Italian time to try to secure one. So the new changes will also involve opening a central office in Rome to handle all applications, to free up consulate burdens abroad. The second reason is to crack down on abusers who become Italian to overcome travel restrictions. The Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani said the stricter regulations followed years of abuses by people who had few ties to the country and only coveted Italian citizenship for the EU passport, which, according to the Henley Passport Index, ranks third in the world for visa-free or visa-on-arrival travel, making it one of the most coveted and, until now, easiest to acquire. The Foreign Minister pointed his finger specifically to South Americans, where millions of Italians emigrated in the 19th and 20th centuries, often to escape grinding poverty. In Argentina alone, where around half of the population can claim Italian roots, including President Javier Milei, who received citizenship last December, annual citizenship recognition soared to 30,000 in 2024, up from 20,000 in 2023, while Brazil saw cases rise from 14,000 to 20,000 over the same period. Tajani argued that those accruing citizenship weren't actually interested in cultural ties to Italy, but just wanted the citizenship to travel around Europe or even the US. Tajani also pointed out that companies were pocketing large sums by helping people track down their long-forgotten ancestors necessary for their citizenship applications. However, the moves could spark some backlash against Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and her government. The way we see it, there's at least two reasons why. Firstly, Meloni, a nationalist who has multiple times promoted the far-right Great Replacement theory, leads the most right-wing government since Benito Mussolini, and choosing to impose restrictions on bloodline citizenship could upset many of those on the right, including her most right-wing coalition partners, who have long argued that the government needs to preserve Italian cultural and ethnic identity. On top of that, these new measures risk further straining her right-wing coalition, which in the past has struggled to agree on issues from supporting Ukraine to civil and LGBT rights, including citizenship rights.
I mean, I don't think they're that bad, that those reasons for it are bad. I think if someone claimed to be Italian and haven't been in Italy and doesn't even think about going to Italy, and his ancestors immigrated Italy 150 years ago, I don't think about having a citizenship. It's the right thing to do for them. Like, if they're not learning language, if they're not engaging in any way in Italy, and they just getting the citizenship so they can travel freely, yeah, that's a bit of abusing the system, literally. So yeah. Okay, let's get to another long ad. So I shall see you soon. Bye! Okay, I'm back. Let's go back to the Italian citizenship right by birth. By blood, not birth, by blood. There you go.
Earlier last year, firebrand Matteo Salvini's right-wing League attacked Forza Italia, the more moderate partner in the coalition, for supporting an opposition-sponsored measure to allow naturalisation for non-citizens who've completed most of their education in the country. While they've managed to hold things together, now almost 2.5 years in power, the coalition has been hit by its most serious bout of public feuding over defence spending and European rearmament. Second, Italy is facing a demographic crisis, which some argue will be made worse by limiting citizenship claims. Fertility rates have been declining and are at 1.2 children per woman, one of the lowest in the OECD. And Italy's statistics agency, Istat, forecasts that the country's population, which has the oldest population in the EU and also has the highest old age dependency ratio in the EU, will drop to about 52 million by 2050, and then under 50 million by 2070, most of whom will be pensioners. This will put massive pressure on Italy's national budget, which is already under significant strain. As such, fertility has become the centre of public debate, with Meloni and her Brothers of Italy party coming to power in 2022, explicitly promising to solve Italy's fertility crisis. Meloni has previously argued for granting citizenship to Christians of Italian descent in places like Venezuela as a way of countering Italy's falling population. However, Meloni's U-turn now risks exacerbating Italy's demographic crisis, even further.
Regardless, in 2025, one thing is certain. We can expect the news cycle to continue being dominated by these same major figures. But who's the most influential? Well, in the most recent edition of our magazine, Too Long, we find out. That's because this 72-page issue runs down our official ranking of the world's most influential people, a vote that saw the TLDR team and more than 15,000 of you casting ballots. In the magazine, you'll learn the entire ranking. Plus, we've written articles about all of the top 25, discussing how
This is just about the most influential person now. So, what do you think about the fact that Italy want to change that law? I think they're right about it. Like, especially for, like, if your parent was born and raised and have Italian citizenship, and I don't see a problem with that. If you have contact, you still have family in Italy. The same goes for every country, actually. If you still keep in touch with that family, you're trying to learn language, or you know the language, and or your grandparents were Italian or Polish or Irish or something like that, and you have contact with the country still, and you go in there every now and then, and things like that, you should be able to get your citizenship. But if your great-great-great-grandparents immigrated 150 years ago, and since then the only thing that actually have anything to do with the Italy is the fact that you have Italian surname? Nah, that's not right. So that's my take on it, and thank you very much for watching. Nice, see you tomorrow. Bye.